Sean, you losing your britches.
Let me go put this ball on for this word.
You know that worries me.
All right. Who's doing the intro? It's on you now, right?
On her.
And who are you tossing to, Judge? And what are you saying?
Hi, my name is Constance Moore. Be sure to like us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel.
That's
And
kind
I'll
of
say
cute.
it louder.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
That's kind of cute.
Get cuter?
5,
No, get energetic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
4, 3.
Well, good evening, all. It's another night with Women of Wisdom. I'm Judge Maybelline from Justice with Judge Maybelline, sitting here with my sisters.
Hi, my name is Constance Moore. And be sure to like us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Braxton from the Braxton Family Value.
Hi, I'm Beverly Hawk, and welcome back.
Well, tonight we're going to talk about lessons we've learned from our children. You often hear children talking about lessons from their parents, and even I talk about lessons I've learned from my parents and those older than me. But believe it or not, as parents, we learn things from our children if we allow ourselves to do so. They too can teach us as well as we can teach them. I'm sure we have some memorable lessons from our children since there's so many of us. Constance has one. I have four. Miss E has 5 and 6. And Beverly, she was real. She kept her word with the Bible. Be fruitful and multiply. Yeah. And Miss Beverly over there had 4.
5.
Oh Lord, why don't know about all that cheering?
One
Oh,
is
that's
in
right. You
heaven.
have a quiet son too. You have that quiet son and the 4 girls. That's right. I forgot. All right then. So, in that, we've learned some lessons from our children. They teach us, and they continue to teach us. And I'm really blessed and thankful that I've learned something from mine. But I'm going to let Miss Constance start with telling us what she's learned from Lana, better known as MC Light.
I've learned so much from MC Light, Lana Mora. From 8 years old, you know, I had a girlfriend, and she would always have to interview my guy friends. You know, she'd be the one in between in our business, and it used to bother me. And I said something to Lana. She said, "Ma, you don't take the cat to the mouse." I was like, such wisdom in just such a little
At
girl
8?
at 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, she was always ahead of her time, you know.
Wow.
And so, I mean, it just goes on and on. So lessons of late is that, you know, she's just very easygoing. I remember when they did an interview with her many years ago. She must have been about 16. And they said, well, how do you handle phony people? She said, just as simple, I be phony with them. 16. And I could remember this until today. That's a lesson. I mean, well, you know what it is, how it is. But I learned so many things to her, how to be gentle and how to be kind, how to be in the industry and still be down to earth, still be humble. You know, I just watch her, and I love the woman that she's become inside and outside. And we talk sister to sister, mother to daughter. And I never talk over her or above her. We've always been able to communicate on a level that she feels free to talk to me. And so when we can have that communication and that exchange back and forth, I get to grow also. And I get to, especially within the industry, you know, she's like a mentor, and I watch her as a businesswoman and, you know, just really staying focused and staying determined and pulling on all the resources. So I get to experience this myself, and I know all I have to do is follow, do the same thing, you know, and not get settled in. And then one more thing, just to connect what we had left off before, is I was talking over my daughter, but I didn't realize I was talking over her. And so one day she was like, "Ma, you're talking over me." And I was like, "No, I'm not." She said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." She said, "Ma." She said, "You're talking over me. Just because you talk louder does not mean that you're not talking over me."
Ooh, they must be twins.
Yeah, and it hit me. It struck a chord. Like, you know, you're right. So it makes me aware and more present with other people. And I have a lot of friends. They do that too. Maybe it's our generation. I don't know, but they'll just talk over, and so I just lean back, sit back, and just let them sit back and relax and let them just talk. So, it's just a number of things, but I'll pass it on and you can come back to me.
Those are some wonderful pearls of wisdom from such a young lady. Don't take a cat to the mouse
Don't
at
take
8
the
years
cat
old.
to the mouse at
Wow.
8 years old.
All right, Miss E.
Yes.
Yes. What have you learned from all of those girls of yours and that young man? You probably learned more from Michael than them.
I've learned so much, just watching them, watching them being parents. I think they are incredible parents. And the way that they interact with their children, to me, it's incredible. Whereas when I was raising mine, of course, I would raise my voice, and, let them know, and then if they got a little sassy, I would jack them up in the collar.
Jack them up in the collar.
Absolutely. But watching them, they sit down and they listen to the kids and they let the children finish their conversation without interrupting them, And so even with my son, he's so mild-mannered. He'll just sit there and he'll listen, even if he's angry. I've never heard my son raise his voice.
To the children.
To the children or to anyone else.
Really?
That's
What a
just-
personality.
Yeah, and so
He must have gotten that from his dad.
yeah, we probably got it from his mama. Anything good, he got it from me. So, I always kid that way, but it to me, it's just a learning experience. Just watching them, and even watching my oldest daughter, Tony. She's a little laid back, and when she gets very angry, she'll shut down.
She does the opposite.
She have nothing to say. She'll go to her room or what have you until it's over, the anger or whatever she's carrying is over. Then she'll come out of the room and she may try to hold a conversation. And so I think that is incredible.
It is.
And so's Trina. She's the same way. She'll just shut down. But I tell you about Trina, if you work on her nerves, she will let you know in a very calm, respectable way. And I like that about her. But she'll get the point over to you, and all you can do is just give her a big hug. So, I've learned that from her. And same thing with Tawanda. Now, on the other hand, with Tamar, I'm just keeping it real. I've learned a lot from Tamar. A whole lot from her. That little girl I call all my kids little girls, except for my son. That little girl is full of wisdom. Really? And then sometimes she repeats to me what I taught her.
Right.
And then, she gives it back to me. And so I sit back and I'm like, look at
You're
God.
not practicing it, so she have to put it back
Yeah,
on
she
you.
put it right back on me. But the good thing about it is I watch them and I'm learning. Sometimes that quiet atmosphere, a quiet word will turn away wrath.
That's what the Bible says.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not always that you have to have the last say.
Right.
Just
Right.
be quiet, sit
Right.
back, observe. And so I've learned that from them kids. And then not only that, but they are incredible business women. And I love that. They will speak up for themselves. They say what they need to say. And a lot of times it's not curse words, but they just say what they need to say. Now, on the other hand, Tamar may use a few to get
Get a point across. Get a point across.
You know all
that,
well, right?
Yes.
Yes, we do know that.
And especially if you're not listening to what she has to say. And so,
Yeah.
I really respect them. I honor them. And I like my kids. Because you can love someone.
Yes.
You can love your kids and not like them, right?
That's right.
But when you like a person, you honor them and you respect them. that goes a long way. So I've learned that.
You can love them
You can-
and not like them.
and not
Yeah.
like.
You can love
I
them
think
not
that's
like
the way my mother was with me. She loved me, but she didn't like me.
And I think.
I wonder why.
Oh,
I know why.
Lord, oh, Lord,
But that's
oh,
another
Lord.
story.
That's
a
another
whole
story.
That's another
That's
chapter.
another subject matter, right?
Subject.
But no, I over the year, when you're a single parent and you're the mother saying do this or you need to do that, you're disciplining, you're doing all of these things. You realize at that time how much you're really listening, because I hear myself coming back to me
Absolutely.
all the time. And they would say something to me, Mom, you remember you used to say this? Mom, you say, make sure you, all that comes right back to me. And I realize they're still on their journey in their careers. They're doing a lot of, a lot of business. They're very good business women. They're learning, they're doing, they're trying to get there, and they're grateful. And that's something we've talked about, being gratefulness. Being grateful for where you are and where you're going, and know God will carry you wherever you need to be. What's yours is yours, what's theirs is theirs. And so for me, I had to really realize too, sometimes I would get to the point where, being in that industry, all that, you tend to say, get frustrated. You didn't get that. Oh, you did, But it was a lesson for me to learn from them. Mom, what did you always tell us? What's for someone else is for them, and what's for me is for me. So I had to hear that because I wanted so much for them.
Right,
So you feeling
Yeah, we
all of
teach
that.
them that.
But I began to understand that, but I hear myself, the things they're doing now, the things they're going, trying to accomplish now, keep it prayerful. And I constantly remind them, keep it prayerful.
Absolutely.
Keep it prayerful. And God will lead you. You do your part, God will do the rest. So it's important that for me, it's a constant reminder, because I hear myself again. I hear myself, and I learn from them because they are very disciplined in how they want to do things. They're a little more organized. I was probably more organized when I had the 5 kids at home. Had to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I can do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. No one's looking at me to be, responsible like that. But what happens is it just goes to a whole. The kids always need you. It's a lifelong
Absolutely.
life. It's for life. It's a lifer. You're a lifer as a parent. And simply because you raise them as a child, but you realize that your children reach certain levels and get in certain areas in their life, they still need you.
They really do.
They still need you. And they let that be known. And the sharing, we have my daughters, my son, we share a lot. And I've always been the mother that I want to listen. I want to hear because there were times when they would say, Mom, we didn't want to tell you we couldn't sleep all weekend. And we had to get up and we just had to tell you. I remember telling you this in high school. And I remembered them saying, Dad was coming to pick us up and we didn't want him to, so we did a U. We came and hid behind the bushes and came home. We didn't go to school. I was like, what? Me being a teacher, what? We don't do that. We don't do that. But she said, Mom, came up and said, Mom, we couldn't sleep because we had to tell you. Well, I was going to get a call from school eventually anyway, but she said it just bothered them because they always shared so much with me, and I never wanted that to change. Of course, there's some things they're not going to share, but I've been told, by others too, that your daughters told you that, or they shared that with you. They're adults; they make their own decisions. But I've learned that is a relationship, your children's relationship, the relationship you have with them. You're going to learn from them if you pay attention.
Absolutely.
You pay attention, you will learn from them, and I want them to continue learning from me because I try to teach them from wisdom.
Right.
Absolutely.
So.
But I also watch Tracy with that grandbaby. Because she's a grandmother now.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
so
And
wonderful.
they're joined at the hip. I mean, at the hip. And I'm like,
Remind
know
me
what?
of somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're absolutely
And I
treating her
see-
grands like you
I
treat
do.
your grands.
Yeah, I see myself in her with that
Yeah.
grandbaby. It seems as though I have more patience
Yeah.
with the
Yes.
grandchildren.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
than
true.
I
It's
did
true.
with my children.
Most
With my
definitely.
children on the job training.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
by the time because I didn't have a manual.
Right. None of us
did.
did that. Right.
We
But
did
the
what we
point
could do.
is, with the grandchildren, I learned a lot what not to do
Right.
and what to say and how to say it. And so watching Tracy, it's almost like watching myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like,
Wonderful.
look at God.
You get a second
And
chance.
so,
Yeah,
so
just to see
I
that.
get a second chance being a grandmother, a great grandmother, and I learned so much from my grandchildren also. So I'm happy. You know, I have no complaints. I won't complain because God is just so, so good, and I'm grateful.
Yeah.
That's
It makes you so grateful.
Well, I've learned the biggest lesson, 2 lessons I've learned from my daughter is tolerance. My daughter, Taj, the producer, is the most tolerant person in my family. And they tease her and say, where you get that child from? Because she's so different. I've learned to respect differences in people through watching how she interacts and deals with people. She's so respectful of all people, all colors, all shapes, all sizes, all races, all nationalities, all beliefs, just really respectful and tolerant. And I was one of those because I was born out of a family of intolerance for others in terms of you didn't do it our way, it wasn't the right way. Every way we did it was the right way. If you did anything differently, that was wrong. And I used to say to them, how is it wrong just because we're doing, you know, I don't wash the dishes the way you wash them. How's it wrong? And I started that in myself as an adult, but watching her now, I see it completely because I've never heard her say to somebody, "You're not doing that right." She may think there's a better way to do it, but the manner in which she'll say that to you, you're not doing that wrong. She says, have you ever considered doing X,
She's
Y,
such a
Z?
kind heart, though.
Or have you ever thought about, and I'm learning how to do that as opposed to just telling people you're wrong and you ought to do it like this and this is the way it ought to be, you know. So I'm learning tolerance. The other thing that I have learned from all of my children is that it's so funny. The lesson they taught me is, Mama, you can yell and scream and holler all you want. You know what you did? You tickled us. I said, huh? So parents, let me share something with you.
Okay.
Your children are laughing at you doing all that yelling and hollering and screaming. And it was so, they told me as adults, they said, Mommy, we used to do things deliberately. We'd sit up and say to ourselves, watch, say this, and watch Mama go to 10. Watch it go to 10. And we just say so and so and so and so, and I just take it straight up every time. And they go back in the room and laugh about it. Got her. Told you so easy to get her to go to 10. And it wasn't having an impact on them. What had an impact on them was when I taught them something. This is not the way you do that. You can do this in a better manner.
Yeah.
Right. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
You should say, this is the way we balance our checkbook, as
Right.
opposed to screaming at them about, why you spending all your money? This is how you save, you know.
Right.
And then they
Right.
learn better from that. Now, I'm still trying to learn to resolve conflict and to get, not when I get upset, to speak softly and to just speak at a conversational tone. I haven't learned that yet, but I learned it. I watch her, and she's masterful at it. And I watch her do that, and I was like, oh, God, help me be like that. Help me do better. I'm so, I doubt if I'll ever be completely like that, but I'm doing much better. I'm learning that. Like the other day, like the other day, we were working on this transaction, and I just got all upset, and I'm just, I'm at 10. And she says, Mommy, now let's go back to it. Calm down. And I know you're upset, but being upset is not going to get the matter resolved. Now we need to think of a resolution, and we need to figure out resolution. Now how are we going to resolve this?
Right.
And say it carefully. Watch your words. Now that sounded like me to her.
Absolutely.
Don't you hear yourself? You hear yourself.
Hear
You hear
yourself.
yourself.
Watch your words.
Definitely yourself. And it makes me so proud when I can, listen to them and, we have our discussions and, and they're sitting with their friends. I'm all ears. It's listening to what they're talking about. And it makes me very proud when I hear them saying some of the things I have taught them or just some things they have learned in their own experience.
Right.
Helping their friends. Just saying those words, or saying, well, maybe you should try this, or maybe that wasn't a good idea, but maybe you can try this. I see in them that feeling of friendship or sisterhood, like they're, the people are close, and they have friends that they've had since elementary school, and that's the majority of their circle, kids when they were kids. And so when I see that, that makes me very proud of the fact that you understand your friendships, how important those friendships are, and how valuable they are to be there for your friends. I've seen it for years in so many arenas. They're one of those you call them and they're on their way to their friend. They're just like that. And I'm thankful for that. I feel in so many ways, there are so many things about them in friendship and in other areas that I just say, maybe I should think about being that way, or doing that way, or addressing it that way. And they'll share, Mom, maybe you should try. So I feel I learn from them all the time. It's something that you have to learn all the time. And being businesswomen, I'm just really,
Oh my God.
I'm floored. I hear, I'm like, really? You did? Okay. I love it. So I'm very proud of them, and I just pray. I pray for my children every day.
Oh my God.
Every day.
Now, I'm gonna piggyback on her, Miss E, talking about her daughter, Trina. And that's why I tell you can learn from young people. I just did an event honoring unsung fathers. And Trina was one of my celebrity presenters, Miss Trina Braxton. And I was having a transaction with her about airfare and hotel. And in the middle of that, she's talking through her third person, I'm talking through my person. And Miss Trina didn't like what was being said, and she got tired of it, this back and forth, back and forth. So she told my assistant, would you just have Judge Maybelline call me and let's get on the phone, just me and her? So I got on the phone with her. She says, in a nice way, she told me off real good. Never cussed, never raised her voice, never said anything disrespectful. But she put me in my place and made me feel so small. Miss Trina says, Auntie, they call her Auntie Judge. I said, yes. Now, can I tell you something nicely about yourself, and you'll take it? I said, yes, you can say what you like to say. Did you think for 1 minute that I would not bring you and do what I'm supposed to do in the manner that I'm supposed to? Did you ever doubt that? I said, no. She said, so why all of this? Why? I said, I don't know. I mean, it left me speechless. She said, so what's all this back and forth and all this back and forth? I said, now that you mentioned it, I don't know. I said, all I can say is, I don't know why I was doing all that and tripping like that. She said, yeah, you were tripping, Auntie. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. But she just, like, come on. Come on, what you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't appreciate the way you're doing this. It's not being handled well. You're talking to me in a manner that's not so nice. And I mean, but in a very soft, pleasant, respectful voice.
Diplomatic.
Auntie Judge. And I really felt like
That small.
real small. And all day, the rest of the night, it bothered me. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, I had to wake up. I woke up and I'm sending her a text saying, Trina, you are quite correct. I certainly did not handle that in the appropriate manner, and I don't know what, it could have been done very differently, and I apologize. Please forgive me. But she taught me,
Yes.
you say what you need to say, and never cuss, never raise your voice, never be disrespectful, never be rude. So lessons learned from our children.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, with my daughter, also, a lesson that I've learned is judgment, how to judge, how to judge circumstances and situations. And I was never able to really choose her friends. I let her have free will, you let her learn along the way, let her think for herself. And with that judgment also, just to be able to think through situations. And so I get to do that because I'm looking at it. I look at her way of thinking. It's so broad, her style. I love her style because she knows how to work with people, She brings that honesty and that energy that people want to be around her. And I pick up that energy because she's not a gossiper. She's not a gossip monger. You know, you can't bring no negative to her because she's going to take the high road. You know, and I'm even careful when I ask her something. You know, because us being with celebrities and celebrity moms. You know, it's always stuff all in the press and this and
Yeah,
that. We don't talk about it. You know, because this way we're not influenced about it. They can't say, well, I got it from Light's mom or she got it from Light, you know.
Right.
So she just keeps it very, very neutral, and she's very loyal also, very loyal to her friends and her family, very, very loyal. And so I get to experience that. I brought her to a place, me and God, of course, not just me. It would not even be humble to say I did it, because I did it as a single parent, basically. And so, but to see how she's evolved into this woman, you know, into womanhood, that she doesn't lean or depend on me. She values my input. She values what I bring to her. But at the same time, she has a strong mind, a mind of her own, you know, a strong mind, and I love that because I want her to be independent, and I had to from the time she was born. Sometimes I didn't want to hand over; I just wanted to hold my baby, you know, like let me share and this friend and that friend, everybody, you know. Can she come over for the weekend? She had a little black book. You know, she was well wanted. You know, could we have her for the weekend? And I had to let her go. I used to put her on a plane at 7 years old with the airline, the flight attendant, with her bike to go to South for a trip or whatever, because I had to be able to let go. Wow. You know, especially when you have one child. You know, you have to be able to let go. So I would say to parents, you know, let go, trust them, trust their judgment, you know. Once you parenting them, once you have
Don't be a helicopter
a
parent.
helicopter or a hoverer, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what other lessons have I learned from my children? I always talk about my daughter, sons, forgive me. I've learned some lessons from you all too. I've learned lessons from my sons. My sons know how, as she was saying, as Ellen was saying, my sons are easily entreated, and their children, I've watched them, both sons have a relationship with their children where they can have a conversation, and they can be their parent and their dad, and they are respected as dad, but they can sit down and talk to them. Even when it's chastising, and even when they're on punishment, they sit down and talk to them. They don't yell and scream, and they definitely don't beat them like I used to do them. I said, oh, Jesus.
Oh, you beat them.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. That's another story. Yes, I did. I did.
We're
I
going to
did.
talk about beating one day.
I'm so glad the Lord delivered me from it, but I did.
Me too, girl.
Yeah, I did. I would have been in jail a long time ago, but I didn't beat him that bad. But I did beat him. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, at the time, that
but
was
not
just-
that bad,
Not that
Right?
bad.
No. But I haven't even seen them spank they discipline their children, but they don't yell, they don't scream, they don't beat them, and their children just love them to death. They think they're the best men in the world. They have so much fun together. They're very patient, and they're very tolerant. And you know, I was not a very patient person.
Well, you're human, not perfect.
Not like you.
Yeah, not like me. You're just, you know, you're not perfect. You're just human. It's okay.
Yes, Jesus.
Yes.
It's been confirmed. She is not Eve. She is not Evelyn. It's been confirmed.
God, I know it. All right, so lessons learned from our children. I think you have to wrap this, don't you? You're the wrap.
Oh, you got this, girl. You're doing such a great job. I enjoy you.
She's
so
so full
much.
of it. And bottom line is our children can teach us if we are willing to be taught. You can learn from a baby. And for those of us who are Christians, again, y'all gonna get tired of me going to this Bible, but it's just too bad because I go to it all the time. The Bible says, and a little child shall lead them. And our little children have led us in a lot of ways. And if you take a moment, you can learn something from them. Just as we give to them, we should need to learn to receive from them and allow them to teach us.
Absolutely.
Until the next while, we're signing off. I'm Judge Maybelline from Justice with Judge Maybelline.
And I'm Constance Moore. Look
And
to
I'm-
see you soon.
Oh, excuse me, girl. And I'm Evelyn Braxton from the Braxton Family Values.
And I'm Beverly Hawk and hope to see you join us again.
And don't forget to like us on YouTube and to subscribe to Wow Women of Wisdom. We are
We
wow.
are here.
Alright. Perfect. Let me tell you how good that was. That was so good.
You went to sleep.
No, I forgot all about the time.
You did.